Hello, Gareth here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the minimum list of materials you need as a complete beginner to watercolor. And though it's probably not relevant, I apologize for that gap up there, but it is what it is. But anyway, moving on. So the first thing is brushes. So we begin with flat brushes, and you need one small flat brush. So this is about 12 or 13 millimeters wide, half an inch, and you need a bigger or wider flat brush, which is about 25 millimeters or 1 inch. So that's all. Then I'm using, I hope you can see this. Let's have a look. Maybe not, it looks a bit blurred. Phthalo blue red shade. There'll be a link to a list of the materials in the description box below, so no worries. But this is phthalo blue red shade from Holbein. I recommend tubes. This one is huge. It's 60 milliliters. Yeah, that's right. And the bigger the better, in my opinion. So, but also I should add, if you've got like ultramarine blue or just a dark blue, that will also do. That will be okay. So that's paints. Next, palettes. So if you're doing at home, then any big plastic palette will do, like this. So this is one of my palettes. It's a real mess, but there you go. But you've got big mixing areas, so that's what you want. These are mixing areas here. It's got big mixing areas. That's what you want. And if you're going to go to a class and paint, or you're going to paint outside, then you really want a palette with a lid, because then when you've finished, you don't have to wash out your paints. It's really difficult to open this. Just a minute. There we go. So, whoops, I've got all paint over my fingers now, but there you go. So it's really good to have a palette with a lid if you're going anywhere, like a class or outside to paint. And I really like this one, but I'm not sure now where. Paint on my fingers, but there you go. But anyway, I'm not sure now where I got it. Oh yes, I am, from the art shop. So just look online, and hopefully you can find something like this. This one is particularly good. So moving on, we're doing it live, but I'm going to get paint on everything, but that's what happens when you do it live. So pad, I knew that there'd be one thing I forgot. Anyway, the thing I forgot was the size of the pad in inches. So here we go. So anyway, I recommend this pad, which is F4 in size. Let me get my ruler. I'll be back. So I got my steel ruler. So important point about paper, yeah, is you don't need big paper, because it's difficult to paint big. It's much easier to paint small. So when you're beginning, make it as easy as possible for yourself. So let's measure it. It's, let's see, 34 centimeters by, so 34 centimeters by something like 25 centimeters. So 34, goodness me, what's that in inches? Wow. Here we go then. let me guess, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, about 13 inches. 13 inches by, just a minute, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So maybe 13 inches by 10 inches. In Japan, it's just called F4. And this is my favorite paper. It's called Lamplight. The reason I like this is because it's like the best quality paper for the cheapest price. And you do want paper that is cotton rich, in my opinion. Don't get the wood pulp. It's cheaper, but anyway, I don't like it. And in a future video, I'll tell you why, but that's enough for today. But if you want to get the wood pulp, get the wood pulp. But I think it's not as good as the cotton rich paper. So yeah, and is it Saunders and Waterford? They're a good name. And anyway, I could go on and on about the good names, but you can probably find them. So anyway, important points. You want spiral bound like this. I strongly recommend a spiral bound pad, and then you want some clips. And what I do is I put these 2 clips on the bottom, so one here and one here. Then when my paper expands, I just take the clips off, stretch it, and then apply them. But I don't get buckling problems with this paper. And honestly, buckling is a huge nightmare. It's just terrible. You don't want that problem. Trust me, if you follow what I'm saying, you're going to have a fairly smooth ride. But you know, if you don't, then sometimes you're gonna have problems. I never wet and stretch my paper, and I have no problems at all. So moving on, water tank, get a big one because the water gets dirty really quickly. But important point, don't have it too high, because if you're sitting down and you have to keep putting your hand in the bucket, kind of, right, then if it's really high, it's difficult, and so it's going to become frustrating, and we don't want that, right? Okay, so next you need a rag, some kind of cloth, yeah? So I get them from this really cheap shop here in Japan. It's called Daiso, and things cost about 100 yen, which is about $1. I don't know what you have in America or England, but you get 3 of these together, and after they get really dirty, what I do is wash them out and then hang them out and then use them again, recycle for a while. So that's my rag. Next, tissues. A big box of tissues. They're really useful, so useful, yeah? So get the tissues, and then next, spray bottle, because what you can do is keep the paint wet longer, and that allows you, so you're stopping it from drying out quickly, and that gives you more time to do what you're trying to do with the paint. Anyway, you need a spray bottle. So, and after that, clips. I've said clips, you just need 2, and they don't need to be special clips. I got mine from Daiso, the 100 yen shop. And then a prop. So with my pad, at the back of the pad, underneath it, I've got this to prop it up. You can use a book, basically, but you want your paper to be slightly tilted, as you want the paint to run down the paper. So you need something like that, yeah? And then we don't really do a lot of drawing in the first course I'm going to do with you, but maybe it will be useful to have a pencil. I like this pencil a lot, it's fantastic. And if you're really not confident about drawing, I mean, I think all we draw is basically a horizon line. That's it basically in the first course. So you probably won't need this, but this is a kneadable eraser, and you need it. So that's the bad joke in this video, okay? A kneadable eraser. You need this kneadable eraser. So sorry folks, there'll be maybe bad jokes to come. But anyway, it's really good because instead of doing this on the paper and damaging the surface of the paper, you can just like place it like that and not do much damage, and the pencil comes off. So it's really nice, and it's good fun just to squeeze it. Anyway, get back to the point, Gareth. And the final thing, this is basically it, is some scrap paper. Now you can use just normal paper, but if you've got like paintings that have failed, don't throw the paper away. You don't have to throw it away. You can use it for testing. And I strongly recommend keeping it and using it as scrap paper. Okay, so I think I'm beginning to waffle now, but I think I've covered everything in this video. So this is, yeah, I think that's it. And we did it live. We did it live. So yeah, scrap paper would be very useful. So this is a list of watercolor materials for complete beginners. And final remarks. Yeah, so if you are a complete beginner, I really would recommend this course. Now, obviously, I should have said this at the beginning, but if you've listened this far, then I'm so grateful to you. And this is really important. I think for a complete beginner, this course is going to be, it's going to make watercolor so easy for you. And you're going to paint so many different scenes, and you're really going to get really, you know, a lovely graded course where it's only me doing it. Okay, where I don't overwhelm you. You don't get overwhelmed, and you're really going to understand well about brushwork and the paints you're using. So anyway, that's my plug. It's going to be a good course. And also, I am a struggling artist. That's my confession. So if you do want to, you know, like buy any of my paintings, there'll be links below. I sell prints. I recommend the framed ones. They are really beautiful. I've got some in my own house. I like them that much. Actually, I was just testing them, but they do look really good. And also I do private coaching. So if you want that personal touch, I'm a pretty good coach, and I'd be delighted to help you with your watercolor journey. And I promise you that is everything. And now I am going, but I'll be back soon with a video on how to lay out your materials. And although it sounds completely boring, it is so important, and it will make your life a lot easier. Bye bye. How do I switch this off?